Hello, everybody. I'm here front and center in my little cabin nook, with my expensive wood in the back. I mean, if you bought a piece of 2x4 now, it's probably $20. I don't know, but it ain't cheap. Today, I want to talk about a couple things. The main, I forgot. We got new merch on our website. The website, thecupcakegrace.com, is scrolling across the bottom. We have Run Hard or Go Home. Uh, I'm getting old. I forget things. We also have on that site Run Hard or Go Home with the towel, and we have some other items that we're selling. Our charity is Bobby's Bikes, so we're trying to sell the merchandise. We have a few items on there, so please go to the cupcakerace.com. You don't have to register to buy the items, but it would be nice if you did register so we have plenty of people there and we have a good time, so forth and so on. So, with that being said, I'm going to keep my hat on, just my headgear, just my seat, make sure everything's in the upright position. We're ready to go. This is my story. A lot of people, I see a lot of women talk about their health and either problems or they want to talk about how well they're doing and what they've changed in their lives. I had to make a change in my life. In 2010, I had gastric bypass. Yes, I was 100 pounds overweight. I was 287. I lost 100 or more pounds. Why did I have to do that? I had diabetes, and my mother died from diabetes and breast cancer. I didn't want to die like that. So I got the gastric bypass, which was the ruin why. And I had to change my lifestyle of eating. All those years, 50 some years of eating all of this and, mashed potatoes. The big mistake I made is I got it on November 10th, which was right before Thanksgiving. And I noticed a lot of people got it after Thanksgiving because they wanted to eat the Thanksgiving dinner. I'm sitting there eating water ice and mashed potatoes and gravy, and that was about it. So while they're all chowing down on drumsticks and all this other crazy stuff. So that was a mistake. But I had to adjust to the gastric bypass. Let me explain. The ruin Y is what I got. And that staples the top of your stomach so it's the size of a bag that will carry a golf ball. So you can't eat and drink at the same time. With that being said, I had to change my habits of 50 some years of eating and drinking at the same time. That was difficult. So I took me about 6, 7 months to lose a lot of the weight. Diabetes was in check, but a little sidebar, it kind of came back 4 or 5 years later, but not as the way it was before. I mean, I could diet or not eat anything for 2 days, and my diabetes, my blood sugar would be like 250. It's not like that now. So um, thankful, I'm thankful for that. But it was a big change. Before that, I was diagnosed with a slight tumor, benign, on my pituitary gland. What that did was reduced my testosterone, where I was barely on the chart. It goes like from 0 to 850, 450, around there is the average. I wasn't even close to it. So I had to get testosterone shots. After I got my operation, here's the key point. Here's the key observation here is I stayed healthy somewhat before that because I was going every month for my diabetes. Since the diabetes was pretty well eliminated, at least the high blood sugar, I didn't go to the doctor until like every 6 months. So what happened? I wasn't being checked. My testosterone, my body started to build testosterone, and it went from 200 to 400 all the way up to 2,200. I was like unbelievable. I could like be ticked off at the world and then at the drop of a hat, uh, cry at the drop of a hat. So, man, if you're complaining about women with their hormones, man, you got hormones too. And it was a mess. So I had to get that all adjusted. So I'm still on testosterone, but I go to the doctors on a regular basis. That is very, very important. You have to go to the doctors. Now let's switch over to what I do. I'm a race director with uh, cycling and running events. I put on events in Florida and I make observations. I watch the guys and the women run, and I also read your posts and so forth. And my complaint is this, and I ask a lot of people this: have you gone to the doctors to get a blood test? Why? You take your car in and get it tested for all kinds of things. You get the oil change, you get the uh, power steering wheel fluid change or added. You get everything topped off at Jiffy Lube or Walmart, wherever you take your car. But you don't do it for your body. You don't know what you're lacking, and in reverse, you don't know what you have too much of. Now, I used to tell the kids when I was, teaching school is that potassium. Older people have to check their potassium because if it's too high, it creates heart problems. Just with a sidebar is in the prisons when they're going to execute somebody, it's potassium chloride, but it's injected, not to be a real damper on things, but that's what potassium, high level of potassium can affect you. But a low level of potassium is something that could cause muscle cramps. Now, I'm not a medical doctor. What I'm suggesting to you is you check and make observations of your running and how you feel. But you're not going to get the complete answers unless you have a blood test. I take quite a few supplements from magnesium to B12, B6 complex to iron to calcium to vitamin D. I take, and the list goes on. If in my blood test it's too high on one particular item, a macro micronutrient, I cut it down. Actually, my wife cuts it down. She takes care of all the pills and everything. Um, and I cut it down. If I'm lacking something like iron and I don't want to be anemic, I take more iron. This is what you have to do in order to be good at running, in order to run and you don't feel exhausted. Protein is the next thing. You need to take protein if you're lacking in some of the amino acids, which is a uh, part of your protein build amino acids and build up for different types of proteins in your body. So they're like building different proteins that you need for your eyes, for your skin, and so forth. Everything, it's a building block that you need proteins. Your digestive system breaks down the beef or whatever you're eating has protein in it. But if your digestive system is not working properly, like mine, because I have a little stomach, I don't have much time to break down all the food. It can like sit there and boom, in like about 4 minutes go through without breaking down. So I have to take supplements. So basically, that's where I am. But you have to check with the blood tests, especially women. You have to check, are you anemic, on all different kinds of things. And what does that do? It tells you if the physiology of your body, where it is. Okay. Are you digesting uh, your protein that you eat? Are you lacking certain macro or micronutrients? Once you have that in place, you go to your doctor and say, I saw the test. I want you to tell me what I need to do. And the doctor should be able to tell you. If he can't or she can't, get another doctor because you have to keep up with this while you're running. Marathon, half marathon. A marathon is a tough nugget. I mean, you have to be out there, you have to be in tip top shape. If you're not running with all the nutrients and everything in your system that you need, you're not going to make it. The next thing is hydration. A lot of people in the middle of the race, they'll hydrate. My question is, what the hell did you do before the race? A half an hour before the race, you should be hydrating. Hydrating with electrolytes. What is an electrolyte? Electrolyte is a ionic compound. like potassium chloride, magnesium chloride. They're like a salt compound, and they ionize in your body, so it produces an electrical charge across your nerve, which activates your muscle, and that way you don't have cramps and other issues when you don't hydrate. You got to do it before you start running. If you're in the middle and you got to do it again, hydrate. After you race, don't sit there, hydrate again. Make sure your body gets everything you need. Now, with me, I can't eat and drink at the same time. If I eat, I have to wait 30 minutes in order to drink. If I drink, I have to wait 30 minutes in order to eat. So I have, especially in cycling, I use Goo, which is a sponsor. I use Goo with the salted caramel, the Goo gel, and now they have a Goo liquid form, and I use that because one, it has electrolyte, and two, it has energy. So you got two things in that particular gel. So that's what I do. I need the basic electrolytes, but I also need to feed myself. I can't eat a Cliff Bar. Okay. Now, with the gastric bypass, the other thing is um, you get hangy skin. Now, I'm lucky. Tummy tuck. I'm not going to stand up and show you. You'll probably have me banned. But you get a lot of hangy skin. People that have gastric bypass and they lose a lot of weight, you have that. That's difficult to run and so forth. So if you have gastric bypass, you might have a chance on getting that, and health insurance pays for it. So let's go back to the races. You're going to hydrate before you run. All right. You're going to make sure you have enough food that you put in your system, because I'm assuming I'm talking to somebody that has a regular stomach, food in your system. In the middle of your run, whether you think you need it or not, you need to hydrate again with an electrolyte. If you think you haven't eaten enough, then you need to get a Goo gel packet. They have tons of flavors, and eat that along the way. After the race, don't just sit there looking at your medal, hydrate again. Because if you get my observation for myself, I'm not telling you that this happens to you, is when I get up and I'm dizzy, I haven't hydrated. And I did that once in biking. I didn't hydrate enough. I got up and I thought I was going to pass out. That's the observation that I uh, utilized, and I knew exactly what the problem was. So, with that being said, I want to bring a couple items up to your attention. And let me get back here. Okay. Our YouTube, this is my YouTube. So I post to YouTube. Also on, I want to give you a couple links here. Okay, that's my FB page, but it's Destination Training. Here's our charity. So it's on our website. Okay, Bobby's Bikes should come up here in a second. Bobby's Bikes, please donate on my link tree. Get this off. So Bobby's Bikes is our charity. Please make sure on the merch that I have that you go to that registration site. We're going to have more things to sell. We have shirts and so forth. So you want to go to thecupcakerace.com and either register, or you can buy the items that we have on there. I really appreciate if you do that. And I tomorrow be with us today for the all about running. We will have this tomorrow, so stay tuned in around 3 o'clock tomorrow on Friday, and we'll see you then.